Welcome to today's episode, The Growth Hack. I'm your host, Marcus Slater. Today we're talking about how to outsmart your competitors. There's so many people that I think overlook leveraging the amount of money that people have spent on their brands, especially when you have larger competitors. You're starting out and you're trying to learn what should I advertise or where should I advertise and what's connecting with the users. There are some simple tactics that you can do to go out and find out exactly what they are putting out, what they're using, what platforms they're using, what they're saying, and what they're testing to help guide what you can do. Now, I'm not saying go and copy everything that they're doing verbatim, but I am saying use it as a guideline to understand where they're spending majority of their money and where they're not, on what platform. Is it social, Google? Is it display networks? There are a lot of tools, right? You have SpyFu, SEMrush that you can use to do a lot of competitor analysis. How much are they spending? What is their ranking? What is their traffic like? What are their traffic sources? Where is it coming from? Is it Google? Is it Facebook? Is it Instagram, TikTok? But I think one of the most overlooked pieces is called the Facebook page transparency tab. And this is a tab on social that you can go and see every brand's ads. You can also search something called the Facebook ads library and do it that way. But you can see every brand's ads that they're running, from creative to headline copy test to body copy test. You can see if they're using lead forms, what the copy on their lead forms are they requiring name, email, phone, and all of that data can now be harnessed and used to create your campaigns and understanding where you should be marketing and how you should apply that. I would definitely jump in there and just take a look at that. And again, you don't want to copy, but look at things in the creative. Are they running video or are they running static photo? That could lean you one way or the other. If you see that 90% of the ads that they've launched are video, it tells you that they're seeing a better return on motion graphics than they are with static images. If you find that of the 12 ads that they're running, the headline's the same, it tells you that they have found a winning headline. Now, this is all assuming that that competitor is properly testing their ad. Don't take it one for one that, hey, what they're doing is what you should do, but it just gives you a little bit of a head start to see, is this where I should be? Now, if you flip over to Google, kind of similar. You can see their ads, you can see what they're running, you can see their headlines, their call to actions, their site links. Same story. Look at what they're doing, what they're populating, and start to build a framework around how they're positioning the copy. Are they using images on Google? Now, all of that said, none of that really matters if your targeting is way off. If you're targeting everyone that's possible in a 10-mile radius, your results probably aren't going to be anywhere near as good as your competitor, who might be targeting specific genders, specific likenesses, things that they're interested in, where they fine-tune it more. Because unless you have a large budget, you're probably not able to reach the max audience in a 10-mile radius. That could be 150 to 200,000 people. You'll never be able to reach those with a smaller budget. So you really want to think about how you can fine-tune that audience down to a smaller audience. My preference is to get that audience closer to maybe around the 60,000 mark, 70,000 mark if you're starting at 200,000. Always try to cut it in half if you can. That is a good place to start when you're marketing, just so that you can try to reach everyone or the maximum of people, especially if you're doing awareness campaigns. You can set that up a little different, but using this to spot also market gaps, recognize that, hey, brand A here is not doing much on social media. That could be potential opportunity for you without having to compete in a bidding war on Google. So if they're primarily on Google, that tells you they're seeing results there, which is great. If you have the additional budget, you can go over there and try to compete with them. But if you don't have a massive budget, this could be an opportunity for you to figure out what they missed on social media. Every platform can have conversions. I am 1000% convinced of that. It's a matter of how much conversions and how much opportunity is there. But if you don't have competitors playing in that field, leverage social, or vice versa. I would say more times than not, we see everyone on social media advertising. It's the easiest platform to stand up. It's also the easiest platform to lose a lot of money when it comes to ad spend. But most are not playing in Google. And 9 times out of 10, when you're doing your research, you'll find that, hey, this brand, your competitor, is doing all this on social media. It looks great because you're seeing them everywhere. They may or may not be getting a lot of conversions, but if they're not playing in the Google world, that is your opportunity to go in and capture all of that low-hanging fruit, all of that high intent of people that are just there searching for the services, but no one has put an ad in front of them for them to come and buy and learn about their brand. Marketing is not a set and forget it thing. Most of you know that you have to continue to optimize. You have to continue to figure out how people are engaging, why they're engaging. Is it something in the creative that they're engaging with? Is it the core of the message, the value that they're getting out of the message? Is it the service? Is it the social proof? One thing I would say is if you are not including some type of social proof in your ads, you're missing the boat. It is the best return on investment. It's the highest converting metric. When you're looking at competitor ads, if you see that they don't have any social proof, add social proof to yours. Keep your ads the same, but yet add some social proof. Take a review from Google, make a nice graphic, a motion graphic, a video, whatever that may be, and drop that in there, because people like to do what other people like to do. You want to follow that stream, but you don't want to force people to go and say, hey, we know that you like to do what other people are doing, but you have to go find this review that's buried 6 pages down on Google. No one wants to do that. Put it in front of them on the platform they are at the time that they're scrolling their feed so that they can see that. Same for Google Ads. It's okay to reference these things and put those quotes in there so that people can immediately personalize it and say, you know what, so-and-so really like this service. I think I might too, even though I don't know that person. It's that same type of concept of what we all do. We see other people buying things, so we're like, hey, we should buy that. Perfect example are the Yetis, right? One person bought it, 20 people bought them, and now everyone has them. The Stanley Cups. I know because my wife has about 8 of them in every color, in every size for adults and kids. I'm surprised our dog doesn't have any. It's the same concept. We have all of those because everyone else was like, hey, we're getting this Yeti. It's great. It's the coldest water you will ever drink in your entire life. And I guarantee you, I've had colder water. Yetis are great, but it's just that idea around FOMO. It's social proof. Everyone was enjoying it, so we had to get in on that and buy it up. Every time they release a new color, we're there. We've got to have that color, right? So do the same thing with your product or service. Show the social proof and bring that into the mix, and then leverage other platforms that your competitor is not on. But if you are not daily researching and watching your competitors, seeing what they're doing, what they're creating, how they're doing it, and most importantly, read their comments. How are people engaging? I hear all the time, but they've got, tens of thousands of followers. Like, they've got to be huge. They're great. If you go and look at their engagement and whether people comment and they have one comment every third post, it goes to tell you that there's not much engagement there. Your followers are only as valuable as the dollars in revenue that you can attribute to them. There are large multi-million-dollar brands that have 2,000 followers, and then there are accounts that have 20,000 followers that are doing $100 in revenue a month. So following count doesn't always equate to revenue, but you have to do your research. You have to understand why things are working the way they are, how you can go around that, and how you can beat it, and continuing to test. Every 96 hours, you should be running a new test. Don't come out of the gate and try to test everything under the sun on day one thinking, if I put out 120 split tests today, we're going to make bank by the end of the week. It's not how it works. If you have a $10 budget and you run 20 ads, every one of those ads are only getting 50 cents a day. It's going to take you forever to realistically learn which one is working better. So the rule of thumb is every ad needs at least 1,000 impressions to really be able to be determined if it is a winner or a loser. You need to be able to make sure that you can spend enough on social media. You pay cost per impression or cost per 1,000 impressions. If your cost per 1,000 impressions are, let's say, $5, and you now have divided your budget up to say, okay, we're only allocating 50 cents per ad, it's going to take you quite some time to get 1,000 impressions to be able to say this one won or lost. Well, what happens is companies or brands or entrepreneurs will do that, and after 3 days, they're like, this one's not converting, let's pause it. That's because you don't have enough data yet. Now you probably paused what would have been your winner, kept all the other bad ones, and then in 2 weeks, you're wondering why nothing worked. So it's really important to take into account those metrics and test small. Be prepared to spend a lot of time understanding what those things are, why they're working. making it an ongoing practice. Set time on your calendar, whether that's the start of the week, the end of the week, maybe even both, and say, okay, I'm going to go and research the competitors that I know exist. I'm going to go and research and figure out, are there any other new competitors coming into the market, and figure out what they're doing, how they're changing, and make a log of those things to help prepare your future test. Competitor research and analysis is one of the major building blocks to having a successful brand and understanding where the market is, where the value is, and it should guide your service and products and pricing. You should be leveraging that to say, hey, should my service be less? Should it be more? If you go and read their reviews and look at all the cons that people are listing, if you're in the software world, whatever that may be, that's a great way to start to tweak your product based on the things that people are saying they don't like. Let's use apparel. I don't like the size of this shirt. I don't like the feel of this shirt. They're telling you exactly what they want to see in a product. It's a no-brainer. So go and look at the reviews. You can look at the good and take from the good and say, okay, this is what people connect with the most, but focus on the bad of that brand and leverage that. We can now build a product that we know there's a market for, as long as it meets these requirements that we're seeing here. It's just like starting a business. Take your number one problem that you have around the house or in life, and 9 times out of 10, you can turn that into a business. Same here. You're just looking at public information that people are providing, understanding where the bad is in it, and trying to build a solution inside your product for that specific market. Thank you so much for joining us on today's episode, and we'll catch you on the next one.